A journey through 19th century Virginia, booming cities, landscapes shaped by war, and moments frozen in time. Each image reveals more than just a setting. It's a silent testament to lives that changed American history. Prepare to see Virginia like you've never seen it before. S.J. Gilpin Shoe Store, Richmond, 1899. This photograph captures the storefront of S.J. Gilpin's shoe shop in Richmond, Virginia. A mail carrier and several men pose proudly at the entrance, framed by rows of displayed shoes. The image preserves a glimpse of small-town commerce at the turn of the century, where craftsmanship met community. Richmond Steam Laundry, 1899. This photograph depicts the Richmond Steam Laundry, a bustling business at the dawn of modern services. Two horse-drawn wagons stand outside, while workers, including African-American employees, pose for the camera. The image reflects both progress and inequality, revealing the central role of labor in Virginia's urban transformation. Students at Hampton Institute, Hampton, 1899. At the Hampton Institute, agricultural science students operate a cheese press screw during a lesson. The classroom, filled with equipment and focused young minds, reflects the school's mission of practical education. This image captures a transformative moment when knowledge and skill empowered new generations toward progress and independence. VPI football team, Virginia Tech, 1898. This photograph shows the Virginia Agricultural and Mechanical College and Polytechnic Institute, now Virginia Tech, football team. Lined up in early gear, the players strike a determined pose, embodying the rugged spirit of America's young college sports. The image reflects the rise of athletics as tradition and pride.
Ruins of the University of Virginia Rotunda Annex, 1895. This photograph shows the charred ruins of the University of Virginia's Rotunda Annex after a devastating fire. Spectators gather among the blackened walls and collapsed roof, witnessing the loss of a landmark. The image captures both destruction and resilience as the university prepared to rebuild its architectural and academic heart. Launching of USS Nashville, Newport News, 1895. The ceremonial launching of the gunboat USS Nashville at Newport News Shipbuilding in Virginia. Emma Thompson, the ship's sponsor, christens the vessel as officials and onlookers gather around. The moment reflects both industrial progress and patriotic pride, marking Newport News as a rising center of naval power. City Hall in downtown Alexandria, Virginia, 1890. The Grand City Hall of Alexandria, Virginia, its brick facade and towering steeple standing proudly in the heart of the city. The structure reflects late 19th century civic ambition, blending function with architectural grace. Streets lie quiet, yet the building symbolizes authority, growth, and a community's enduring identity. Morrison Drug Store, Rural Retreat, 1890. This photograph shows the Morrison Drug Store in Rural Retreat, Virginia. Townspeople gather outside the brick building, a focal point of community life. More than a pharmacy, such stores served as social and commercial hubs, blending medicine, trade, and conversation at the heart of small-town daily experience. University of Virginia Chapel. This 1889 photograph shows the newly completed University of Virginia Chapel, its Gothic architecture rising proudly beside the rotunda grounds. The stone walls, pointed arches, and tall bell tower reflect the era's devotion to tradition and faith. The image preserves a moment when the campus expanded with spiritual purpose. Huntington's first electric streetcar. This 1888 photograph captures Huntington's first electric streetcar traveling along 3rd Avenue. The trolley, gleaming with modern promise, passes by brick storefronts advertising clothing and shoes. Crowds gather to witness the new invention, a symbol of progress and urban transformation. The moment marks the city's leap into a modern future. First photograph of the Rotunda, 1868. The University of Virginia's Rotunda was captured in one of the earliest known images of the campus. Taken just after the Civil War, the salted paper print reveals Jefferson's vision still standing, surrounded by fences and trees, symbolizing resilience and rebirth in a fractured nation. Union wagon train in Petersburg, Virginia. This photograph captures a Union wagon train entering Petersburg, Virginia in 1865 during the final year of the Civil War. The long line of covered wagons moves through a weary town scarred by conflict. Church steeples and brick buildings stand silent, witnessing the slow march of history's turning point.
Pontoon Bridge over the James River, Richmond. In 1865, as the Civil War neared its end, a pontoon bridge stretched across the James River at Richmond. Wagons and soldiers crossed the fragile structure, linking divided shores. The calm water reflects a moment of transition where improvised engineering carried both supplies and hope toward a reunited nation. The Governor's Mansion, Richmond. Photographed in 1865, the Governor's Mansion in Richmond stands as a symbol of authority amid the aftermath of war. Soldiers and civilians gather along its tree-lined approach, their presence reflecting both tension and curiosity. The stately building, framed by towering trees, embodies continuity in a capital shaken by defeat and change. General Washington's Headquarters, Richmond, 1865. This Civil War-era photograph depicts the building believed to have served as General George Washington's headquarters in Richmond. Modest wooden walls and bare trees frame the scene, where figures stand quietly outside. The image links revolutionary memory to Civil War turmoil, preserving a site layered with leadership and national struggle.
City Point, Virginia, Union Supply Base. These four photographs capture City Point, Virginia, between 1861 and 1865, a critical Union supply hub on the James River. Images show crowded docks filled with ships, wharves lined with warehouses, and damaged piers revealing the strain of constant use. One view depicts the quartermaster's headquarters, the heart of logistical operations. City Point became one of the busiest ports of the Civil War, sustaining Grant's armies during the Petersburg Campaign. Amid ships, timber, and hurried construction, the photographs reveal both the fragility and power of wartime infrastructure, preserving a site where victory was supplied as much as fought. Barracks at Alexandria, 1865. This photograph shows the long rows of military barracks in Alexandria, Virginia. Soldiers gather outside the whitewashed buildings, their figures scattered across the yard. The scene reflects both routine and readiness as Alexandria became a key Union stronghold. These barracks symbolize the city's transformation into a fortified hub. Falls Church, Virginia, 1865. This Civil War photograph depicts Falls Church, Virginia, its brick structure standing among bare trees. Horses and riders wait nearby, suggesting the building's use as both landmark and shelter during wartime movements. The quiet scene masks the turmoil of conflict, preserving a place where faith and community endured amid uncertainty.
Stoneman's Station, Virginia, 1865. Stoneman's Station in Virginia, a key supply and transportation hub. Long wooden structures stretch across the landscape, surrounded by piles of cut timber and scattered wagons. The image reflects the immense logistical efforts that sustained armies, turning quiet countryside into centers of movement, storage, and survival. View of Richmond. This 1865 photograph, taken by Alexander Gardner, presents a sweeping view of Richmond after the Civil War. The city stretches across rolling hills, with houses, factories, and church steeples rising in the distance. Though scarred by conflict, the image conveys resilience, showing a capital slowly reclaiming stability after devastation. Custom House in Richmond,
1865. This photograph shows the Custom House in Richmond after the city's evacuation. The imposing stone structure stands intact amid surrounding devastation, its classical design symbolizing endurance. Once a hub for commerce, the building survived fire and war, embodying both continuity and the scars left by conflict. Sanitary Commission Headquarters in Richmond, 1865. The Sanitary Commission Headquarters in Richmond, Virginia, the large brick building served as a center for medical aid and relief during the Civil War's closing months. Crowds gather outside, symbolizing the desperate need for care, order, and recovery in a war-torn capital city.
Richmond, looking toward Manchester. Captured by Alexander Gardner in 1865, this sweeping view of Richmond looks toward Manchester across the James River. The rooftops and chimneys dominate the horizon, reflecting a city scarred by war yet standing resilient. The perspective conveys both devastation and the fragile promise of renewal after the Civil War's end. Harper's Ferry after the war. Captured in July 1865 by James Gardner, this view of Harper's Ferry reveals the scars of war etched into the valley. Once a strategic crossing, the town bore witness to repeated clashes and occupations. The calm river contrasts with the silent ruins, marking both devastation and survival in Virginia's landscape. Belle Plaine, Potomac River, Upper Wharf. These two photographs from 1864 reveal the Union supply base at Belle Plaine, Virginia, along the Potomac River. One view shows rows of wagons, tents, and encampments stretching across open ground, the landscape transformed into a lifeline for armies. The other captures the crowded wharf, where steamboats and barges jostle for space, unloading supplies and troops vital to the war effort. Together, the images portray Belle Plaine as a hub of military logistics, where industry and strategy converged. Amid mud, smoke, and restless waters, the site embodies the immense effort required to sustain campaigns deep into Confederate territory.
Aquia Creek Landing, Stafford, Virginia, 1864. At Aquia Creek Landing, the U.S. Army's Quartermaster Corps managed a lifeline of supplies during the Civil War. Captured in 1864, the photo shows sailing ships anchored on the Potomac River, with railroad tracks in the foreground carrying food, munitions, and medical provisions to the Union front. Provost Marshal's Office, Aquia Creek, Virginia, 1863. The Provost Marshal's Office at Aquia Creek, Virginia, a vital Union outpost during the Civil War. Soldiers and civilians gather outside the wooden building where military law and order were enforced. The muddy ground, rough timbers, and crowded scene reveal the hardships of wartime administration. Fredericksburg, Virginia. This 1863 photograph by Andrew Joseph Russell depicts Fredericksburg, Virginia, scarred by war. The city lies beyond the Rappahannock River, with pontoon bridges crossing the water and ruins scattered along the shoreline. Once a thriving town, Fredericksburg became a battlefield, its image here reflecting devastation, survival, and the heavy toll of conflict. Union encampment in Culpeper. Photographed by Timothy H. O'Sullivan in November 1863, this view of Culpeper shows rows of Union tents stretching across the fields. The town became a hub for troop movements during the Civil War. Its quiet countryside transformed into a sprawling military camp, symbolizing both order and the looming chaos of battle.
Alexandria, the crossroads of the Civil War. This panoramic view of Alexandria in 1862 shows the city at the height of its Civil War importance. Known as the crossroads of the Civil War, Alexandria served as a hub of hospitals, supply routes, and military control. Its streets carried both the chaos of conflict and the weight of survival. Train on the Orange and Alexandria Railroad. In 1862, A locomotive steams along the Orange and Alexandria Railroad in Virginia, vital for transporting troops and supplies during the Civil War. A man sits in the grass watching the iron horse pass, symbolizing the collision of old rural life with the unstoppable march of industrial progress. Wrecked Orange and Alexandria Railroad, Manassas. Photographed in March 1862, this image shows the Orange and Alexandria Railroad in ruins after retreating Confederates sabotaged it at Manassas, Virginia. Shattered tracks and scattered wheels mark the devastation. Soldiers stand amid the wreckage, silent witnesses to the destructive toll of war on progress and infrastructure.
Military Railroad at Bull Run, Centerville. This 1861 photograph shows Union soldiers seated by the Bull Run stream near Centerville, Virginia, during the early stages of the Civil War. Behind them, a makeshift military railroad bridge spans the water, fragile yet vital. The quiet moment contrasts with the battlefield nearby, where history's course was fiercely contested. Marshall House, Alexandria. Photographed by Egbert Guy Fawkes in 1861, the Marshall House in Alexandria, Virginia, carries a tragic legacy from the opening days of the Civil War. It was here that Union Colonel Elmer Ellsworth was killed while removing a Confederate flag, an event that shocked the nation and inflamed both Northern and Southern passions. The Firefly Engine, Gordonsville. In 1860, the Firefly locomotive of the Orange and Alexandria Railway crosses a wooden trestle near Gordonsville, Virginia. Balanced on timbers and stonework, the iron engine embodies the daring spirit of early railroads. A man stands below the bridge, dwarfed by the machinery that was reshaping America's landscapes and connections. With each photograph, Virginia comes alive before our eyes, not just as a battlefield, but as a space of memory, resistance, and transformation. These images are not just ancient records, they are windows into a past that still breathes and continues to resonate in the American soul.